I almost feel like it's more of a pressing thing that we need to talk about is the coaching cycle that has taken place uh, in the last 7 days. The big one, obviously, that happened was 2 days ago. John Harbaugh is officially becoming the head coach of the New York Giants. He takes over the Giants after Brian Daboll was the head coach for 3.5 years, and then Mike Kafka stepped in as the interim head coach. Braden, I want to get your thoughts on this move with Harbaugh going to the Giants. Do you like the move for Harbaugh? Do you like the move for the Giants? What are your overall thoughts on this?
I mean, I have said that I thought the Giants were a premier spot to land, really, as far as the available options. Of course, this was before later news that came out this weekend, but as far as what was available, I thought it was Atlanta and the Giants 1A, 1B. So, as far as spots he could have rebounded and landed at, I do think this is a big win for Harbaugh. I will say Harbaugh as a coach kind of is he is certainly a floor raiser for a team that has been going a lot of like 3-14, 4-13, hasn't been winning a lot of games really since Eli, other than that one year that they made the playoffs. So I think this will be a big culture change for the Giants organization and a fan base that really needs anything other than a couple Super Bowls in this century have not really done much since like Lawrence Taylor. So I do like this hire for New York. We will see if it ends up working out for him. Do I think this is going to be like, oh, the Giants are going to be like in Super Bowl contention? No, absolutely not. But I do think that this will at least kick them out of the like first overall pick contention race that they've been in.
Yeah, this was certainly with obviously, I guess, before the craziness ensued on Sunday morning. Uh, Harbaugh was the top guy in the cycle with Tomlin stepping like not coaching this year. Obviously, like he was the cash cow for any NFL team out there, and we all agreed. Was it 2 weeks ago? That we thought the Giants' job was probably one of the more appealing jobs out there, just because you already have what looks like your franchise quarterback. You already have an elite number one receiver. We'll see with Scatabo if he comes back from his injury, how he's going to look. This Giants defense is pretty good, so that's another positive for them. The thing I have with Harbaugh that I don't know if I'm 100% sold on is he's not like a play caller, so he's not like calling plays out there for like the offense or the defense. He's just kind of like a guy that like sits there and motivates the team, which could be good. It has worked for Baltimore. Obviously, they won a Super Bowl, but it has been 13 years since that Super Bowl, which is a pretty crazy stat. But I hope for the Giants' sake that they can find an elite offensive coordinator to pair with Harbaugh, because I think that's when you're going to really see the development and the progression of your second year studs and even your third year stud in Malik Neighbors. Like this team has a lot of pieces that I really like. Honestly, outside of the Ravens and Steelers job, it was this job or the Falcons job were probably the most appealing jobs if you were an NFL head coach, just because you already are off to a good start. And honestly, I have my issues with Philadelphia as a Chiefs fan, but this division is pretty wide open. This isn't a bad division next year, but there's no one true dominant team because Philly it has their ups and their downs, and their downs are real low. The Cowboys, they always seem like they're going to try to do something, but then they haven't really been great in a couple years. And the Commanders, who made the conference title last year, obviously had a step back season this year. I think a lot of that does uh, is a result of Jaden Daniels getting hurt and missing some games this season. But this certainly is a wide open division in the NFC East. And I have one take I'm going to say, and then I want your thoughts on this. Is it crazy to say that John Harbaugh is already the best coach in the NFC East?
I mean, Dan Quinn did do a really good job last year. Is that enough to say that he's better than like Harbaugh right now? I mean, your competition other than him is Nick Sirianni and Brian Schottenheimer, which
Yeah.
we said enough about Nick Sirianni on this podcast, I think.
Yeah.
Schottenheimer, I guess the players really like him. They really rally
Right.
around behind him, but I don't really know. I don't know if the sample size is quite enough. I would say if there is any competition there, it would probably be Dan Quinn. But I don't know, man. The thing is with Harbaugh, like he was already on the hot seat like 4 or 5 years ago. Like when in Lamar's rookie year, they had lost like 4 of their first 5 or whatever. And then they threw Lamar out there in Flacco's last year. They were already talking about like, oh, Harbaugh is like going to get fired this year. And then Lamar came in and basically saved him for like the next 5 or 6 years of his career. So I don't know. I don't necessarily disagree, but I'm not going to be like hard on the press of like you are 100% correct either.
Yeah, and it's a certainly debate. The thing with, I don't know, Sirianni would be the only other, but I don't really think Sirianni is a great coach. And
I don't
that
think
might
he
be a
is either.
crazy take because he's been to 2 Super Bowls, he's won one, whatever, and I'll take the flack for that. But Philadelphia's rosters have been really loaded. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Like
I
it does take at least a decent amount of coaching to be able to win a Super Bowl, but also like I don't care. Like if any reason I have to slander Philadelphia sports, I will take it.
right, right, and it doesn't help that Sirianni's not the most likable guy. He does some stuff that just it's just super irritating. I'll just say that
He's a cornball. I'll say it.
he is. That's
He's
probably
a cornball.
that is probably the best way to put it. But yeah, certainly gives the Giants a puncher's chance next year in the division. I'll say that. I agree. Their floor is now raised. They went, what'd they go? 4-13 this year. I could easily see them winning 8-9 games next year if everyone takes the leap like they're supposed to. And I think, what pick do they have in the upcoming draft?
This year, I think they have the 4th pick.
I think that
4th
sounds
pick,
right.
5th pick.
They have
It's either 4th or 5th.
They have the 5th overall pick. So you could still get a premier player, like a blue chip prospect at that 5th overall pick. And you don't need a quarterback. And maybe this is the year that the Giants are like, hey, we have our guy at QB. We're going to trade down and see if a team is desperate enough for Ty Simpson or
No.
I don't even.
No.
You never know.
There is not another quarterback. I mean, listen, we had this conversation last year where it was like, it's Cam Ward and Shador are the only 2 that even have a chance of going in the first round. And then Jackson Dart out of nowhere. They Giants traded up and got him. Nothing is impossible. This draft cycle can prove to inflate anybody, especially there's a lot of teams that seem like they need a quarterback right now. I will say if Ty Simpson is going anywhere near the top 5, I will pop a blood vessel in my head.
All it takes is one team to really value him.
I don't think there's a way that you can watch the tape post November and be like, yeah, this is a first round pick.
Right. I don't disagree there, but do you understand what I'm saying? They could be in the position this year to trade back.
Yeah, no,
and maybe not get a huge haul, but definitely get more picks, more assets to go and rebuild that team.
Yeah, they definitely could trade back. I also could definitely see them being like, hey, I mean, at 5, I mean, maybe one of the receivers is still on the board. It would kind of depend. I don't know if Tate will still be on the board. Maybe if they like Lemon, because they really needed improvement at that wide receiver 2 spot. I could see, I mean, Ruben Bain has been an absolute menace. Whether they want him to be a true like 5-tack, 3-tack, whatever, could really be a big help on the defense. Really, there are a lot of routes that they could go to really improve this team, and I am very excited to see what route they take.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like, maybe it's because I've already been in the offseason mindset for weeks now, but this mock draft season is going to be fun because this top 10, there's some cool storylines and there's some interesting players. Obviously, we have another running back that could go potentially really high in the draft. We have a safety that could go in the top 10 potentially. So this is a lot of interesting storylines for the upcoming draft, and maybe the Giants can hit a home run. And hey, only up until this year, there hadn't been a repeat champion in that division in 25 years. Philly did it this year and last year, but that division could be wide open next year. I'll just leave it at that. Um, Moving on to the second bit of coaching news, another hire. Kevin Stefanski is going to be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons this fall. Braden, what are your thoughts on this move for Stefanski? What are your thoughts on this move for the Falcons? And do you like the hire?
I mean, like I said earlier, I thought Giants Falcons were kind of 1A, 1B as far as if you trust yourself to find the quarterback. I will say the one guy that has not been able to find the quarterback is Kevin Stefanski. So we'll see. I guess Michael Penix the best quarterback that Kevin Stefanski has had. I mean, Baker is up there. I will say it is very interesting that now Kevin Stefanski will be playing Baker Mayfield twice a year. There's definitely going to be some bad blood there, I would have to assume. But overall, I mean, yeah, I think Stefanski was one of the better coaching hires that they could have gotten. I think this is a big improvement over Raheem Morris. And Bijan Robinson getting prime Nick Chubb carries will be must-see TV.
Yeah, one of Stefanski's bread and butter when he was in Cleveland, in his first few years anyway, was that 1-2 punch at running back with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I know Algiers a free agent this offseason, so we'll see if they end up bringing him back. But wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta finds another stud running back to go behind Bijan and just has one of the better 1-2 punches. Even Algier this year, I'll pull up his stats, but I thought he had a pretty good year considering Bijan Robinson gets like 80% of the touches when it comes to running back. But a lot of potential for that offense, which is really exciting. Pulling up the stats right now. Why can't I see?
I mean, he definitely had probably like 600 or 700 yards.
500 yards, but he had 8 rushing touchdowns. I mean,
Not bad.
it's the highest rushing touchdown total of his career in a season. So maybe that's goal line merchant.
His rookie year, Tyler Algier was honestly pretty good.
Yeah.
And obviously his carries have gone down a lot because, Bijan is there.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely think that 1-2 punch is going to be really fun to see in an NFL scape that really is starting to cycle more into the run game with how defenses are scheming up for the pass. This could be a really fun team to watch next year.
Yeah, and the big question is do they bring is Kyle Pitts a free agent or is he under? I'll pull it up.
I would have to assume so because like Bryce Young got his 5th year picked up and he was the year after. So I think he's probably an expiring contract after this year.
It appears that he's not on the roster next year. Excuse me. So will they bring him back?
Yeah, I mean, you want a David Njoku? I would say Kyle Pitts is about as good of a potential David Njoku as you're going to find.
And we're talking about Pitts, who had finally the season that we all wanted him to have. It only took 5 seasons, but we got it. 928 yards, 5 receiving touchdowns, second highest receiving total of his career, the most touchdowns in a season of his career, most catches in his career.
Every year of his career, his touchdown total have gone up one every year.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a sight to see. Sight to see. Was even named All-Pro second team. So
yeah, baby.
I mean, we might be back.
Man. We are so back. The 101 agenda has never been brighter.
I mean, and we're talking about a guy that's only 25 years old. He'll be 26 by the time the season starts next year. But man, if Atlanta, if they figure out that Penix is the guy, this team could be fun. And this team has good pieces on defense. Jesse Bates is really good safety. AJ Terrell's really good. Like, they have good pieces on that side of the ball. And obviously the 2 edge rushers they drafted this year in Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. James Pierce Jr. had an unbelievable season. I think he had almost 12 and a half sacks. Jalen Walker was a little disappointing, but maybe Stefanski or whoever he hires at defensive coordinator can help bring those guys into a year 2 jump. And I would say at this point in time, as much as I'm bullish on the Panthers, I would say this team is the favorite to win the NFC South next year. Would you agree?
I definitely like their chances. I mean, I was bullish on them this year. Unfortunately, their head coach had other plans, but I definitely think the talent is there. If they can fit, because Penix is probably not going to be playing next year. If he is, it'll be like maybe the last 4 or 5 games. If they can figure out something at quarterback, I absolutely think this division, just like the NFC East, really, but on like the other end of the spectrum, NFC East is good because they have like all 4 of those teams could easily make the playoffs. The NFC South is close because none of those teams should be making the playoffs. So
Right.
if you can get like any competent play out of anybody on that roster whatsoever, yeah, I think there's a really good shot that they come out of that division on top next year.
Yeah, because we were all pretty high on the Buccaneers early in the season, but the Buccaneers had a collapse in that second half of the year that just makes me nervous for Tampa Bay. Makes me nervous. It's another year Mike Evans gets older. It's another year Chris Godwin gets older. Who knows what their defense is going? I'm worried for the Buccaneers, and that could potentially open the door for the Falcons to win this division for the first time in God knows how long, probably since the Super Bowl, or maybe the year after they went to the Super Bowl. So now we move on to, would you say one of the more shocking head coaching hires with Halfley going to the Dolphins?
I mean, I guess I hadn't really done much research on him. I didn't really know if there was a ton of head coaching buzz. There must have been because, I mean, he got a job. It surprises me that he got a job before a lot of the other names that I feel like I've been getting buzz. But, I mean, players seem to like him, so I suppose we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to say about that. I'll be honest. I don't really know much about the guy.
Right. Of course, I'm referring to Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Halfley being hired by the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, Miami moved on from head coach Mike McDaniel, who we'll get into later this episode because he has already picked up a new job. So we'll talk about that later this episode. But Halfley, Packers defensive coordinator the last 2 seasons, was before that was at the Boston College's head coach. Green Bay, last few seasons had a really stout defense, really good defense. But ever since Parsons went down in like week 16, week 15, their defense took an absolute nosedive. And we understand that Parsons is an all-worldly player, but I mean, they give up 31 points to the Bears in a playoff game. I mean, what are we doing here?
I mean, the Bears have a good offense, but like, man.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's certainly not a great final game to leave that spot. But I mean, hey, we'll see. We will see. Again, that Dolphins situation is scary because right now you have a $55 million quarterback who you cannot trust to not have his head turn into mashed potatoes at any given point in the season.
yeah, I would argue that this was one of the worst head coaching openings just because the uncertainty at quarterback with Tua, and then you don't know what you're getting with Tyreek. I mean, he's all over the place. Whether he comes back next year for Miami or not, Jalen Waddle. Miami was trying to trade Waddle at the deadline and obviously wasn't able to. A lot of question marks. I'm sure this Dolphins defense is going to be good because they still have some good playmakers over there. But I worry about that offense and I worry about Tua and what's going to happen for him in the next stage of his career. Do you like this hire from the Miami side of things?
I mean, again, I don't really know a ton about Jeff Halfley. I will say, yeah, like you said, that opening was not exactly great. So anybody that you have a feeling can kind of turn the ship around, get a little bit better chemistry within the locker room, I would say you're going to be pretty well off. It definitely looked like by the end of the tenure, Mike McDaniel, they pretty much lost that locker room. So if you can do what you can to try to get that morale back, you're already leaps and bounds into being a slam dunk hire.
Yeah. I don't want to talk too much more about this one because I don't really know what Halfley is going to bring to the Dolphins. I'm sure we'll have more thoughts and opinions later in the offseason. But right now it's really, I think this one just got official last night or something like that as we're recording. So not a whole lot of information to really base this hire off of. Uh, but certainly one of the more challenging head coaching jobs if you're taking the Dolphins job for any candidate in this head coaching cycle. Then we're moving on to the final head coaching hire that's happened in the last 7 days. Big Bob Saleh, Robert Saleh, is going to coach the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward and them. Braden, what are your thoughts on this move? Do you like this from Robert Saleh's side? Do you like this from the Titans side? What's your overall feel on this move?
Listen, I don't like seeing Robert Saleh leave. I'll be honest. He has had a lot of success for the Niners as a defensive coordinator. He was a big reason why we didn't completely die after we lost Bosa and Warner. But you kind of knew this was coming. You kind of knew he was going to have to take a year off from head coaching, come back, improve his stock a little bit, and go get another head coach job. I really like this fit a lot more than I like this fit for New York. I mean, you have your QB1. You don't have to worry about trying to find a replacement. I think Sam Darnold was his quarterback in his last year in New York. Obviously, he ended up having one of the most miraculous QB turnarounds that we've seen in recent years. But, I mean, can you really blame him for cutting weight with Sam Darnold there? Yeah. That experiment had come and gone before he had even made his way over there. And then they brought in Zach Wilson. That obviously didn't work out. But they don't have to worry about trying to find a new quarterback. They got their guy, Cam Ward, that's shown potential. I think he's going to flourish if they can get some more talent around him on the offense. And defensively, they have pieces there. They can definitely make that work. If anybody's going to get that defense running, it will be Big Bob Saleh. I am very glad that he was able to get another job that is not the New York Jets.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this hire. I think anyone that goes to the Jets, just their career's toast. Like, I mean, look, there's just so many examples. Like, even though he didn't even play well this year, like Geno Smith when he was with the Jets was terrible. Then he revived his career with Seattle, and then now I guess he's terrible again. But like Sam Darnold went to the Jets, was awful, and now is like $100 million man with Seattle, and Seattle is a win away from the Super Bowl, which we'll get to them later in this episode because that's pretty remarkable. But no, I'm a huge fan of this hire. I really like the pieces that Tennessee has on defense. Jeffrey Simmons is an absolute monster on the defensive line. They have the 4th overall pick in the NFL draft. Will they go receiver with that pick to help out Cam Ward? Will they go defense? The mock I have up here right now has him taking Ruben Bain, who, if you didn't watch the College Football Playoff, you missed out. Ruben Bain is an absolute game changer off the line of scrimmage for Miami and was a huge reason why Miami went from the 10 seed in the College Football Playoff to within a play or two of beating undefeated Indiana in that game. So that could be really fun. Also, you could take his Jets tenure and just throw it out the window, in my opinion. There's just that whole organization's got so much ups and downs. I'm just not a super big fan. But if there's one thing that Robert Saleh knows how to do, and that's coach a defense. And I think Tennessee's defense was one of the worst in the league last year. So should be fun if he can turn around that defense, make Tennessee exciting again. Like you said, they have the quarterback, it seems like. Cam Ward played really well in certain spots, made some unbelievable throws. But just couldn't quite get it going on the defensive side. Gave up 28 points per game. It's 4th worst in the NFL. Like, you're going to lose 95% of your games if you give up 28 points a game. But that is the last head coaching hire that we have as of now. Braden, before we wrap up this, out of the 4 that have happened, which one is your favorite? Which one is your least favorite?
I would say my favorite, honestly, probably is Robert Saleh to the Titans. I mean, As far as like coach to team, I think I really like his chances of improving the Titans more than I really like any of these other coaches to improve their teams. And I do like Harbaugh. I like his fit with the Giants. I like Stefanski. We'll see if he can be a good fit for the Falcons. But I mean, I really do like that Bob Saleh to Tennessee fit. As far as least favorite, I mean, it seems unfair to give least favorite to Jeff Halfley to Miami just because A, nobody was going to be a good fit there, and B, I don't know anything about him to really even give that fair of a grade. But I I don't know. It doesn't really feel like enough dominoes have fallen to give me a true least favorite, but I suppose that probably would be it. I don't know, Kat, what do you think? Since you have so much to say.
I think she said Stefanski. I think she said. I'm just kidding.
Uh, she says she can't believe Zach Taylor still has a job.
Yeah. That's it. That's a whole another talking point right there. But I would probably say Stefanski is my favorite just because like the offensive pieces are there if they can get the quarter. Like if Penix is the guy, that offense is gonna be really fun. And then I would agree with you with the halfway thing. It's tough because again, we don't really know. This is kind of like an unknown coaching candidate. Like I saw his name thrown out there, but didn't really know much about him. Like versus the other three guys who have all been former head coaches, and two of those guys have won head coach of the year honors. One of those guys won a Super Bowl. So like it's kind of hard to like get put up against those three. But I would say at this moment in time, that's probably my least favorite. Do you remember the last Packers coordinator that got hired for a job?
Was it Nathaniel Hackett to Denver?
Do you know how that tenure ended, or do we just need to
It
move
did
on?
not went. It did not go well. I remember that.
Oh man, Hackett didn't even make it one full season in Denver. I'll just put it
He
that way.
couldn't play.
I'm not saying that's gonna happen for Jeff Halfley, but not saying it not won't not
But the
happen.
precedent is there.
Yeah, the blueprint is out there, especially with how bad potentially Miami could be next year.